he couldn't get on Zoom. He's here on Zoom, but there's no sound. So we're also on WhatsApp with him. So he's on the phone on WhatsApp. So you can only hear the sound. Okay, but I've already given you an introduction and a photo of him, so you pretty much know who he is. So Maun Ete Uku is originally from Baguia, Baucau, which is a very special place in the history of East Timor. And if you try to find out more about Baucau, it's a very unique history because a lot of the most brilliant resistance leaders and intellectuals in East Timor are from that district. His mother tongue is Makasay, but he also speaks Tetum. Like many Timorese, they usually speak 5 languages. So they would usually speak, like Maun Ete Uku speaks Makasay, and then he speaks Tetum, and he also speaks, the colonial languages. He was a former combatant in the Fuerzas Armadas de Libertação Nacional Timor Leste. So he's a war veteran and spent a lot of time in the jungles in the Frente Armada, the armed front. There were 3 fronts for the resistance movement. The Frente Armada, which is the armed front. Frente Clandestina, the clandestine front, where he also played a very important role. And then the Frente Diplomatica, the diplomatic front. After spending some time in the jungles, after the Indonesian invasion in 1975, he was arrested, captured, and imprisoned in Dili, and 1983 to 1987, and was, I think you already read about some of the things he experienced, like severe extreme torture, electrocution, and beatings, and so on. I gave you the documents on that. And then after 4 years, he was released and he joined the clandestine movement. So the clandestine movement was a clandestine underground network of resistance fighters fighting for independence. And then he was arrested again, was imprisoned again. But the most important thing I wanted to say to you today is that he's one of these extraordinary people who was somehow, from all of these horrible, horrendous torture and no justice, was able to not just survive, but become a visionary and build a school. So he's now running a school in Dili, which is one of the most beautiful and inspiring schools that I've ever been to, and where I also volunteer. And so if any of you are interested in knowing more about the school or volunteering or going there, let me know or ask him.
Whatever you think.
Yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna say. And if you want to start with your questions, you can ask the question to him and I'll translate and then he can answer, and that's what we'll do today.
Okay. And then for anybody else who has questions and stuff, if you just put it in the chat, then I can add it to the document as well.
Wow.
So
So
we can track the question.
Começa as perguntas agora, Bela, Kalai.
The first question was from Janice. It was, I noticed that our guest speaker has 2 names, Maun Ete Uku and Aquilino Guterres. Where did these names come from, and is there value in having multiple identities?
Okay, pregunta primera, Mau. Who's si Janice? Niya dehan ita iya naran rua. Iti Uku, Maun Ete Uku, dipush Aquilino Guterres. Tambah saida ita iya naran rua, dipush iya saida maka dia ko identidade rua no identidade liud identidade multiple.
Sim, né? Obrigado pela pergunta aí também. Tama, primeiro, a minha nara de Aquilino Guterres, nara original, nara de dulu serani, nah itu bapak pun jahatin, dan bapak pun punya nara, madu itu kuno, ini aku udah bapak, aku sehat, kamu tuh bapak. How setting how nara papa tinga tele oh how anta how ting uja nara tole ida ne per papa buka mutu de itu kece anta ida ne mak how ting itu jam papa senia buka itu ade how muda atulun hamu tu ko ni amal tu ku ni ala den tapi how kamu tuh bapak ini serius kamu tuh punya buka itu lah ya narang ya tinggi narang itu hanya sama bapak itu masih buka lahir pak itu harus tinggi bernapas kita satu organisasi emang atau kumpulnya halus dan
Obrigada, Mau. So thank you so much for this question. First of all, Aquilino Guterres is my original name. It's my Christian name that I was baptized with. But Ete Uku, he also said Bapak, which means Mr. or it's an Indonesian. Yeah, it's something they used to.
Honorific? Is it like the title they use to address?
No, it's not an honorific. It refers to the colonial occupation.
Oh, okay, yes.
They usually call them like Mr. Father. Bapak actually means father, but it's when they're referring to the Indonesian military, they call them Bapak.
Oh, I see.
So then the second one, Ete Uku, is his code name that he used for the war, because if the Indonesian military knew his real name, they would easily find him and kill him. So with the name Ete Uku, he's able to organize, and even if they tried as hard as they can't find him. By the way, this name Ete Uku is in the National Museum for Timorese Resistance. His name is there, Ete Uku.
Does it have a meaning? Is there a reason he chose it?
Mau, Ete Uku significa saida.
Ini apa ini kata agora itu hanya semua so ami de sira de resistente Frente Armada Frente Clandestina Frente Externo makaten hanya sa palur rata lai ninya narne rau ninya narne bunyi rau ne original maybe ne udah dan palu hanya sa tahu rumah tarwa ninya narne jervas kita ninya tahu karena sa chamama ninya narne de manel sa gugmão maybe narang chamam para kalau bapak kunjung labe tambe dengan hatinya narang dan so narang berarti ani resistente makaten bapak hatene dit maka itu Indonesia maka Aquilino Guterres maybe nyalakan itu an presidente Frente Armada, Frente Clandestina, Nacional.
Mas iti Uku ni, lian makasay ka, significa buat rumah.
Liang patalupo.
Oh,
Patalupo las palas sa minya.
okay.
Segundo pakulis makapona naman. Agar ito kuni dia kata. Etenya ay kuni dia karat. Ay karat.
Okay. Okay, obrigada, Barma. Yeah, so iti Uku was given to him by, it's Fataluku, it's not Makasay. Was given to him by Connie Santana, who's a very beloved and inspiring and well-known resistance leader from Los Palos, Lautem. It means I, Tarak. So ete means I. And Tarak is thorn. I, like a tree. Yeah, tree with thorns. Los Kalamao.
Ay, kuni niya para ka besages. A veces soma itame. Ay de venina para. Sabes carba niya sona itame. Net para ku. Le dia todo mo.
Yeah.
Ay niya makara.
Yeah, so that's what it means. But all of them had code names. So Falu Ratilaik, Taurmatan Ruwa, Shanana, my late husband also Lasama, that was their identity, their clandestine names. And they all had other names as well. The public names, but this one, is their clandestine name. Okay. What's the second question?
Oh, my second question or the one from
No. Janice, can you give a chance for others to ask a question also?
Yes. So sorry, I was just checking.
Yeah, thank you. Does someone else have a question, Dhruv?
I have some questions, but I just didn't want to accidentally hog up all the time. Like if anybody else has questions, I just wanted to give them a chance to chime in.
Yeah,
But if not, I do have a few more.
If you could open your, if you could unmute yourself and ask a question, that would be great. So Mautiak can hear you, because he can hear you, but the Zoom doesn't work that well. He can't. There's no sound, so I'm using WhatsApp. So we're on the WhatsApp and also on Zoom.
Okay, I can just go ahead and ask one then. This was from Sam. It was, what was the road to becoming president of ASSEPOL, and how did you command the respect of the citizens and gain their vote?
Where's Sam? Where is he this morning? Is Sam here? Okay, Sam's not here. Does someone else want to ask a question who's actually here? Or should we go with Sam's question? Does someone want to ask a question who's here?
I have a question.
Hope. Yes, Hope. Go ahead. Then
Okay,
yeah.
my question is, so we've established that he's a war veteran. How did that affect presidency, or did it affect presidency, or how did that affect kind of how he chose to run things?
You mean presidency of ASSEPOL?
Yes.
Okay. Mao. Balerona kalay. Niya pergunta, Hope iya pergunta, Hope niya aman mus ema veterano. Tau niya pergunta makane, ita nudar veterano funu, dipush sa Presidente ASSEPOL, onsa ita niya eksperyensya no dar veterano fo impacto ba ita niya kanar no dar Presidente Organização Prisioneiros Políticos?
Ah, preso político, né? Não é uma, né? É uma sirene de tudo tempo Indonesia cair ba na cadeia, né? Agora sira, né? Mas agora falar é muito kalau organização sebenarnya ASSEPOL, né? Associação de presos políticos, né? So, Senhor Jacinto Alves, maksay presidente, au si tidak tam, nabi hau poin maka saya haneta mesti responsable do município tudo. Kita nego tambah ASSEPOL. Asesnya objetivo né? Kata organização do né? Atu hari atu defende interesse nacional Timor Leste. Político itu hal yang juga bisa defende paz, estabilidade e ser governo da pessoa, servidor do povo. Itu prinsípio. Jadi aku controla governação naçãozinha, aku control a execução orçamento do Estado para servir o desenvolvimento da nação. Então, organiza mal para aku, objetivo aku continua para aku, aku controla, aku fiscaliza o orçamento do Estado.
Muito obrigada, Ma. Hope, can you hear him? Are you able to hear him? Can you hear the sound?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so first of all, he said that he's only responsible for the municipality of Dili. Jacinto Alves is responsible for the entire association of
Nacional.
national political prisoners throughout all of East Timor. But this association is responsible after their experience of becoming, veterans and tortured in prison and electrocuted and so on. Their job now is to defend the national interests of East Timor, to work for peace, for stability, to serve their communities, and then also to think about the principles of what is better governance, how to control the budget of the state so that it's not wasted. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Let's get back to Sam's question if there are no other questions, but I don't see Sam, so let's ask questions, those of you who are here.
I do have one. That was from me, by the way. It's, what is your motivation for founding schools, and how does education play a significant role in enabling Timor Leste to heal from colonialism?
Thank you so much. That's a great question, Drew. Mao, dane pergunta ho si Drew, niya den, saida makaita niya motivação atu hari eskola ida. Push ita hare, onsa eskola ne bele ajuda pa ita ni atu ita bele recupera, atu ita bele diak fali usi experiência at Tebtebes.
Sim, também temos também recurso humano e a nação e o mundo recurso humano é importante para a nação também nação que com nessa Timor né recurso humano é importante tem que tenha uma né lavar e a área vocacional e a área profissional para ser sai e abang baru sai ida que sai maten profissional e pronto para perceber o mercado de serviços e Timor que é o mundo todo precisa também da maten e minha espírito para área direta porque o recurso humano lá é a nação nela del baú.
Okay, I'll traduz lá, yeah? So his answer is human resources are really important. I think some of you who speak Portuguese or Spanish, you can pick up some of the terms. Recursos humanos, human resources. For a small country like East Timor, the children who are curious, who are smart, they're the most important for them to learn new things, vocational training, being curious, being really sharp so that they can earn a living. There could be jobs. We could recover from all of the horrible things that have happened. If we don't have these, there's no way that we can continue. Yeah. As a country, as to build our communities. Sí, vele.
Tambah saya memotivasi apa dari sekolah. Tambah primeiro ao hareba ao ler história da nação que nessa na Austrália o único nação depois o único aporte e uma mundo todo uma rotina nossa não tem mais nada se você não vai ter um pouco ainda vai então que fala rotina roto agora com tem ini agora minha agora hal bagulho cultura mas lá dia que também que uma casa na tudo pode ter que não ter agora nem a referência que Timor label Frente. E exemplo de aqui da makanya sa Singapura recurso natural lá ia mas de unidor sai fala nação idatu sai indústria boto ia Ásia e o mundo todo agora que Singapura recurso lá mas de tambah ni invest único ni recurso humano ni é masiran ni tudo se escuda matas depois para serviço da nação tiver a ossa até uma Singapura com nação sai indústria do mundo também ganhar uma casa motivada ao indústria recurso humano para a bomba na sai morai com a nessa na modelo frente e ganhar motivado a resposta.
So Dhruv, he wanted to add by saying that what motivated him is reading different comparative examples. So he read about Nauru, also a small country that's extremely rich with natural resources, oil, but did not invest on education. And you know, they used to have a lot of money, and now it's become quite poor. They also didn't develop their agricultural sector. Then you look at other countries that he said he also read about, like Singapore. They don't have any natural resources, but they invested in human resources and education. And economically, they've done quite well. So that's what motivates him, is he wants East Timor to flourish also. That's why he wants to build a school and invest in education and human resources.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Dan, obrigada, Barak. More questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know exactly how to phrase this, but I was curious kind of his perception of how the younger generation have or view community, because I imagine that like the veterans and the people who were involved back 20 years and prior have this strong sense of identity, but I was wondering how he feels like nowadays, like the people who are growing up now, if they also share that identity and share that sense of belonging in Timor.
Yeah, great question. Mau, sa iyan ni Bagalay.
Sim,
Okay, iya pergunta ho si Joseph. Niya pergunta makane. Onsa ita niya percepção, taniya hanuin ko na ba geração agora, juventude sira agora, labarik sira. Ita niya visão ko na ba comunidade no dar veteranos, kan? Ita niya visão ne parece que ita niya identidade makastep debes. Mas juventude sira niyan, onsa sira mo senti sira sai parte, sira belong ba comunidade ne ka lai.
agora também mas agora como nessa nação, nesse Timor, né, vai construir uma saúde, conflito, já temporário como é. Agora, a mim, não descrever condições como está para descer da tamba. Agora, né, a mim tem uma capoeira, tem uma cá, lá, o passo do. Agora, também é uma começa a preparar a tamba. A mim, a população, Timor, lá, a nessa situação que tanto Indonésia, a nessa Singapura, a nessa Filipina, a nessa muito menos a nessa Europa, né? Covid a nessa matene com niabe, conhecimento muito pouco e lá. Agora foi então completo, né? Mas que aquilo a mim prevén de coisa agora não que água que deu o quanto quando sai por lima cá não foi então. Jadi toda by the minute apa
Obrigada, Mau. Okay, so he said, Joseph, that they've just come out of conflict. We're talking about genocide, colonial occupation, like not just one, but several. So now they're in the process of creating the conditions for the youth. They're literally just beginning to walk. You know, the word lao is to lao baoin is to move. To move, they're just beginning to move forward. And the emphasis on the walking forward is crucial because they don't want to immerse themselves in dwelling in so much pain. and get stuck in the past. So he's saying we're not like Indonesia or Singapore or the Philippines or all the smart people in Europe, because we literally just came out of a war, out of conflict. And it's very heavy. But very slowly, we're starting to move. I mean, just to add, Obele Omenta with Tuan, one of our friends in East Timor, our neighbor who used to work for the World Bank, Antonio Franco, said to me, it's a miracle that they didn't all go insane. Mau ulo ka ia vizinho Director Bank Dunia niyan, Antonio Franco. Yeah, then awak fodak ne milagro ida ema Timor hotula lasai bulak.
Nah, si kami dan naman kami tinggi Timor wanting berlatih realidade Timores Timor yang agora kami berlatih kami label di anesa a Singapura e a Ásia, Timor e a Europa. Ini kami atraksi. Se anda pilih tak anda atraksi. Ketika dari mulai adalah clara. Jadi kami ada possibilità Timor, ada possibilità Timor, Moris real Timor, anda pilih dan tak ini orang apa tambah sih. Naman mo si upuan tulur ona algorithm implement tulur ona tulur matai jadi nanti more still real that Timor.
Okay, he added that Lautuir, we have to follow, we have to live based on our own reality that we face here in Timor. We cannot become like Singapore, because if we haksoit, if we jump, we could fall like really badly. So we start with just moving and walking small steps. That's how we should live. These other countries have been independent for a while now, for some of them for a long time. We literally just became independent from colonial occupation.
Thank you.
I have a question as well.
Okay, Victoria, go ahead.
Hello. Kind of expanding on the previous question about schooling, what are some ways, or how are the students feeling inspired? And what are some ways that the teachers are igniting that fire in the kids?
Oh, that's a great question. Mau, ia pergunta ho si Victoria. Ia pergunta makane, ikaw na ba itani escola? Estudantes sira, labarik sira, hetan inspiração o sinebe. Depois, guru, teacher sira niya, say that, atu, po inspiração mo onsa.
Sí, agora agora lavar tira agora contente mais escola se aprende e teacher tiramos teacher nessa Timor Leste além de ensinar inglês me traduz bastante então lavar tira gosta gosta aprende e também para galakui simu galakui inglês importante também mundo agora mundo de tecnologia era globalização tecnologia agora domina o mundo Terus teknologi adanya betul akhirnya Inggris, Laos, itu Laos bahasa Indonesia lah. Nah dulu itu forma ikan yang conhecida com realidade do mundo niña.
Obrigada. So Victoria is saying that the children are coming to school. They're pretty happy. And I actually have been there. I just want to add, I've been there a few times and I was really shocked because it's like the happiest place I've ever been in the world. It's bizarre. It's like, I mean, for a country that's been through so much hell, you know, I'm like, I have some films and photos I can share with you. And then he said, all the teachers are Timorese, which is unique because there are a lot of foreign schools as well, run by very rich people who have a lot of money and where the elite goes. But Maun Ete Uku school is low income school for like people from very tough neighborhoods. And the students are inspired to learn. They're very curious, they listen. And he made the decision that whether we like it or not, learning global languages is important. English is important because of the access to technology. And this is actually a big debate in Timor, right? Like the education system is saying that they have to just learn Tetum. But Maun Ete Uku school has decided they also have to learn global languages like English, because how will they connect with the rest of the world? So they only knew Tetum and only knew Bahasa Indonesia. How could they become global citizens? How would they even understand the news? And he's saying that with all the technology now, he wants the children in the school to be able to grasp all these things that are happening globally.
Thank you.
Yeah, by the way, I'm going to Timor again to volunteer in the school in June, July, August, September. So if any of you are interested, let me know. Yeah.
I have a question kind of going off of that.
Sure, Madeline.
I was just wondering, so were there any more specific moments that you've witnessed either in the community or the school that were kind of like the moments when you realized all of the efforts and struggles that you went through were really worth it?
Okay, yeah, great question. Mao, sabihin bagla, iya pergunta ho si Madeline. Niya pergunta, iya momento ida kalay, momento ida, iya escola, nebe ita hare labarik sira, depois ita hanuin buat hotu maka Italiona, iya valor tamba ita hare buat rumah, anasan esperanza o sa date. Iya momento ida maka ita bele lembra, halo reflexão.
Reflexión tomaba de
Like, kuna ba sekolah, kuna ba labarik sira yung sekolah? See, are you asking specifically about the children in the school?
Either like anything that you've witnessed in like the schools or in the communities that were kind of like examples of like the things are kind of I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but like things are all the struggles were worth it in the end, and like it's kind of bringing back humanity kind of. I'm not quite sure how to phrase that question, but if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, I'll try to translate. Yeah, sin madalindehan ya momento ida nebe itahare ia eskola ka ia komunidade maka halo ita sente buat hototo nebe ita liona ne ita belehetan fali esperanza con ba humanidade.
Esperança, a minha esperança também é a escola de a minha programa dia que pulang tuntun encontro hoje lihat para progresso de laboratório laboratório uma escola que é que se cuida mais amor mas dia baru mamos ina ama da obrigação de ajudar materi sirandetu sira aprende escola. Jadi ya terus além de ia pulang betul saja escola ho ina ama cria de group work de ya WhatsApp ya WA o internet para sempre ia comunicação malu dari ya betul malabar kiranya saya cari amor seperti salmon saya saat ira materi rumah sempre comunica malu para satu lolos labar kiranya para net di mana lah hamut pelabari ina apa o juga na hamut suka sampai nama labau label itu kelas kami sistema sebenarnya kami bisa iya di sekolah ya sekolah.
Sí, obrigada, Barak. Yeah, what gives him a lot of hope is the work in the community with the parents. So every 3 months they meet with the parents. His idea of transformative education is to work together in the school, meeting with the whoever is responsible for the children, with the mother and the father or their relatives, and then they have group work on WhatsApp. They're constantly communicating with each other. These are the moments that give him hope. If the children are sick, if they're having trouble with the materials, that they've been able to create a system out of all this chaos and war, whereby it's not just isolation and individual work, but the children are supported by their caregivers, their parents, the community, working together with the teachers. And that gives him a lot of hope.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great questions. Any more questions?
I had a question.
Sorry. Oh yeah, Danny, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, since he's currently leading East Timor towards like a path of healing, what could he like recommend to people from outside countries, do in order to help support this recovery?
It's a great question. Mau, ia pergunta ho si Danny. Dia pergunta tamba ita rasik lidera Timor atu bele saidiak fali atu recupera ho si funo si genocida ho si buat hotu ne maka acontece. On saida maka ita bele faheba raiseluk. Kona ba processo atu recupera.
Primeiro, con la recuperación de nación y ide nación ide comunidad de Morris fin de gobierno de nación de comunidad. Jadi ini konteks Timor Leste, agora a minha objetivo principal é começar pela formação de recursos humanos. Recursos humanos, então também agora a mim, então começar para kita recursos humanos é importante para membatina penulugan di manulu main recursos humanos prepara agora abang baru siran pakai aneta determina o futuro nacional. Se kita lá prepara agora abang baru nacional atulur berarti kelate. Memang agora a minha para recursos humanos importante para una turno gato main siran maka abang baru lori nação para o futuro ne unta ne esnet.
Yeah, obrigada. So, Danny, he said that they're always thinking long term and thinking about the future. They're working for the future. So firstly, if you want to recuperate, you want to heal as a nation, of course, each country has their unique way and unique path. But in the Timor context, which he knows more, their principal objective is to, because so many people were killed and the country was pretty much flattened out and burned down, right? To focus on human resources. That's the highest priority. And to think long term. So not just thinking about the next 4 years, but the next 50 years and beyond. Because that will determine the future of our country. And if we don't prepare them, what will be the future? So somebody has to have a vision that's long term about the future.
Got it. Thank you.
You know, that's a very, very tough question because, yeah. Any more questions? How much more time do we have? Okay, I think we have 1 minute. One last question. Pergunta idatan now di push mamos bele tova date on naman disco. It's like 3. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Idatan di push tabele taka on naman. One more question and then.
Saya mag-iya pergunta bela halva.
Hello. Hey, so can you guys hear me well?
So yeah, go
I had
ahead.
a question. So much. What are some of his hopes for the future generation? Yeah, like in his country, and what are some of the values he would like his, the future children to carry on?
Okay, thank you. Pergunta who si so. Mau say hindi ba kalay? Niya pergunta, ita niya hakarak. Ita niya esperanza pa futuro geração saída date. Push ita niya valores balabarik sira. Ita hakarak labarik sira ne continua saída.
Primero, ita forma sira, ita forma sira ya ciência ya uwe para sira abang baru sira makasay onde forma nação sira mahanas tair nação minha tuga dulu kau nação abang baru saya ya ema ni lima ema makatong tututuni para akhirnya saya tersedia untuk recursos humanos. Memang untuk simpan Singapura. Ele recursos humanos kita. Indo saya nação industri ya Asia toma todo mundo ya nação recursos natural lah ya. Mas untuk saya nação industri ya. Ni exemplo que eu vou motivo de Timor Leste, etc. E tinha recursos naturais assim, kita tunggu pasti recursos humanos abang baru dan untuk siran abang baru lu nação de baú para lebih mudah nação que nação pelado kan nação que itu soal nação de kapal baú orang lain makin estar lala pelo ponto de sequer nação que não punya também Singapura é exemplo dia para Timor Leste.
Okay, obrigada, Mau. I'll just translate. So he said that first is to help form, to educate the children, the young people in sciences and all kinds of other fields, because they will be the conductor, the conductor, like a driver and also like a musical conductor for the nation. And they will carry the country forward, whether the result, the outcome is good or bad, it will be them who will determine. They will be the future leaders. And that's why human resources are so crucial. Again, he uses the example of Singapore, who has no natural resources, no oil, but they were able to develop industries. On the other hand, Timor, the oil will be finished, and they may, if they're not careful, it could become a failed state, like all of the colonial occupiers said they would. Like they would have no money, they would be poor, they would eat stones after independence, and the list goes on. So yeah, he said to study the countries that don't have any natural resources, like Singapore, who are able to survive and flourish. And to not become everything that everyone predicted Timor will be, which is eating stones if they want to become independent. Tau mau hawanuin makanidate itamos kolen ona kalandia kalan bot ihanibat tiaklu itamos toma. So I said, I think we're going to have to let him go now because he's been up since 1:30 trying to test the Zoom, so he can also rest, and they have to go to school again tomorrow. So if you could help me in thanking him, that would be good. Just because he can't see your chat, and if you could just, open your unmute and just say thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for your wisdom.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you for sharing with us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mau,
Thank you so much.
kami tuto agradecebot. No, itamos dia yutoba ona. Obrigada barak.
Obrigado para mama, para tudo negócio. Mande uma promessa. Obrigado para
Sí,
quando precisa de outro pronto.
Sì. How about Timor, how about Timor, Fulan Juli? Tahas orang lalu paling na ba? Si. Brigada Barat. Brigada Barat now. Adios. Brigada. Thanks for coming, everyone. Yeah, thanks for being here.